I always had a notion about the Raven. I always knew it was a part of me, says Jon Raven, the Nova Scotian native and powerful rock Americana artist. Flying headfirst into the Nashville music scene and filling our ears with a cyclone full of rock, soul and classic country. Spreading the word that if we are to achieve love, we need a little guidance along the way. I'm Kane Harrison and this is Emerging Artists.
Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Jon, thanks so much for joining us, mate. It's a great honour to have you all the way from Canada down into our Nashville studios. Let's talk a little bit about you being a Canadian artist and then making the journey down to Nashville. I know you've done it a couple of times. So we sort of go back to, thinking about coming and the motivation to come.
Yeah, well, I started out singing classical music, and then when I started writing my own songs, my mom actually said, well, maybe we should check out Nashville, because in Canada it's known, or most of the world is known as Music City, and if you're going to be a musician, that's where you have to go. And so she took me here when I was 16 for a week. And I was on a little show, and then about 6 months later she took me back, and I was writing with some people that we'd met previous, and then when I was 18 she took me again. So for the 3 times she kind of got me acclimated, like this was the big city where I should be. And when I was 23 I started coming here on my own, just on and off, trying to get myself with writing sessions and recording sessions and that sort of thing. Get to know the city and shows and that sort of thing. So as a Canadian, this is, we really only have the main Toronto, if you want to make it big. But, there's Calgary and stuff too, but it's just a little harder, depending on what type of genre of music you play.
I know it's difficult being Australian and also being a musician, how difficult it is to come and stay and live and all those sorts of things. The visa process, immigration's a nightmare. And I know also, I kind of take it for granted that Canada's just there and America's just there and you can drive over the border, and I guess you can just use, if you're traveling, you can just use your driver's license or wherever it works, but to actually make the move and be down here, it must be really difficult. And also, I guess, like you say, there's limited opportunities where Canada really is so far away from Nashville in so many aspects, and it just doesn't seem like that. So it must be difficult to be able to, not only find your niche in Nashville, but like really get in, make those good relationships, which you have done. How did you do that?
Well, and immigration wasn't such an issue before 9/11. Obviously, that obviously had an integral declining type of emphasis on a Canadian coming here. Before that, I could come for 3-4 months at a time, as long as I wasn't working, just writing and stuff, and it was perfectly fine. 9/11 happened, and then they started requiring you to have like a certain visa in order to come here, even to play an open mic or anything.
Wow.
It was getting pretty rigorous. So I came in as a graphic designer. And because that is a skill I have, and I worked in that every day, and when I could write, and when I could record, I could record, but that allowed me to legally be here and pay taxes and, be a citizen.
Yeah, and I guess inject yourself into the community.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And just, we'll go back to your childhood in Canada, because you did suffer illness as a child. Tell us about that.
I had a rare form of cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma, and it's 85% death rate. And I had that when I was 6 years old through, I would say 13. I was battling with it, and I survived. And obviously, having that sort of upbringing, trauma in your childhood can either make you messed up or it can give you power, And so I just chose the second. And it kind of has been a driving force for me to be a survivor and to do something with my life, because if I survived, obviously I was meant to, and so I had to give something back, so that's what I've been doing.
And how do you think that has shaped you as an artist? Obviously from an early age you were interested in music and that sort of thing, but were you aware of, I mean, being a 13-year-old, I'm not sure if I guess you have to grow up fairly quickly when you have a disease like that, but
Definitely.
were you aware of the fact that you were a survivor and that the rate, so lucky to survive? How did that affect you, your music and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on it definitely was kind of a numbing sensation. I didn't really understand what was going on. I think I was too young to even, socially, to even know what was going on to me, But as I got a little older and I started, I was singing all the time. It wasn't songs, it wasn't anything. I was just making noise all the time, and to my sister's dismay, But I have 3 of them. Anyway, but as time went on, I just started realizing that there was a power building because of that, and it was kind of the core of who I was, and so. That translated into the songs that I would start writing, and being a survivor again is something, you look at a Tarantino film, or you look at a John Wayne film, or Clint Eastwood, whatever, Braveheart for that matter, having something that's you're battling gives you a purpose, and gives you, to strive for more.
I can't say that I'll always get things right. I can't promise there will never be a fight. I can't imagine how strong this love might grow. My heart is sure there is one thing that I know. If your walls tumble to the ground and your world flips you upside down, if you lose everything that you found, my love's gonna stick around. My love is gonna stick around. You got scars that'll never go away. You need love, and I know you're so afraid. You're gonna cry